It's a lovely morning. Yeah, it's out of fuel. I gotta go get some fuel. Anyway, I'm changing the radiator in the Jeep while Mrs. Heavy Chevy's getting her beauty sleep. I just can't sleep all morning. I gotta get up. I gotta do something. It's kind of a cute little guy, ain't it? Oh, a quick Jeep hack. That's a stainless steel trim ring. The other one's chrome and pot metal. Looks like that one came off a Winnebago. Fits right in. Perfect. Ain't that snazzy, huh? Yeah, I had to kink the hose a little bit. Somebody knocked on the door again.
Mr. Heavy Chevy's other neighbor here, asking if you could just like, comment, and subscribe. Our neighbor has so many vehicles. He's got them out back, he's got them in the yard, he's got them in the street. And if you guys could do that, it would maybe help the algorithm. And maybe he could afford to replace some of the tires that he insists on burning off on the pavement.
Alright, it's Thursday. And I'm home early from work on account of Hurricane Debbie. So, I'm not going to get too wild, but I'm going to go ahead and start taking some things apart to pull this engine. I'm going to start by draining the antifreeze and go from there. Never can get it all in the bucket. Here's the fun stuff. 13mm all the way across up here. Must have lost the bolt one time and just had this kicking around. At the risk of yakking too much, any of you all have worked on these early 80s vehicles, it's kind of aggravating because that one is a 9/16. That one is a 15mm. You gotta keep switching back and forth. Sort of annoying, but it's not that bad. Look there, I got her jacked up, ready to go underneath. If my belly will fit. I don't fit under there as good as my neighbor did. And the young man's here. He's fixing to do some disassembling on the exhaust manifolds. We're going to try and see if they'll fit in the BMW. So he's going to pull them, I don't know what you call them, converters, I guess, off. As soon as he sciences it out.
Yeah.
Look at him, he figured it out. Got my seat dirty though. That's where I sit down at, man.
Well, they can be clean.
Okay. We have determined that the passenger side is going to fit just fine. The driver's side, not so much. It's the steering shaft. But I don't think that's an insurmountable thing. I think you can weld these manifolds. We just might do a little dicing and slicing. Put it back in there so the folks can see. See there, it's hitting the steering shaft. This fits pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, it's a lovely Saturday morning. I done been to work. Now I'm here where I'm going to work some more. The young man says he might get around and work on this car a little bit, which would be good since it's clogging up my bay. And I'm going to crawl under here and finish getting ready to take this engine out. So we might have to do a little multitasking today. I got to get the exhaust off it. Pull the distributor cap. Transmission mount loose. There's some other stuff under there, so I'm gonna get crack-a-lacking. Alright, it's ready to come out. I think. You always forget something, or wire, or what have you, but so since I'm helping the boy on his BMW, do you see him out here? I don't either. He's still getting around. I'm going to go roust him up and he can help me pull the engine out of this thing. That's what I'm gonna do, I think. All right, I'm yakking too much. Well, it's partway out. I'm here by myself still. You know, it takes time to get ready when you're a handsome Jack, I guess. Well, I had everything unhooked, but there was a couple of bracket, little clamps holding the wiring harness there and there. So, but interestingly, you can get the engine out, it appears, without removing the hood, if you just undo the springs right there, and then do some sketchy propping up with an old piece of conduit or a broom handle, I suppose, if your wife ain't driving it around. So when I parked this thing, I drove it this morning and was running the air conditioning, it was blowing cold. But when I was sitting here idling, messing with the stereo, and I started noticing a smell. I couldn't figure out what it was, and I saw a little smoke coming from this area. Oh, look at the lens fog. So then I went to start a minute ago so I could push that truck out, and it wouldn't want to crank. I like the battery was weak. So I put the jumper on it, and it sounded terrible. So I got to looking, if you can see down in there, the clutch came up, it melted. What the hee-haw is up with that? I bought brand new parts so I wouldn't have this trouble. I should have just put the old one on it. Let's see if it'll crank now. Oh yeah, much better. You know, I was watching a Whalen Wire video the other day, and he said it's expensive keeping up with all these vehicles. That's for darn sure. It sure is. Alright, now I'm going to pull this out. I love to watch you leave. Alright, I managed to spread antifreeze and transmission fluid everywhere I could. So now I need to remove the transmission from the engine. I've done sold the engine to my neighbor. I think he's going to put it in an S10. It's a good engine, it's just a 305. The young man has decided he won't be working on this today. He's got some buddies that want to go kayaking. So he's going to do that. So I'm going to finish this up, get this separated. You know, you got to keep them separated, and then hook the neighbor up with this motor, and then we'll see what we do from there. Alright, I managed to spill even more fluids on the floor. Guess I better get out some floor dry. Alright, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out. Watch out for that dipstick there, Mr. Heavy Chevy. I'm going to go out and fire up the big Dodge. I'm going to load that van on the trailer and get it out of the driveway. It's going to be a while before I can work on it, so I'm going to put it for safekeeping. Hopefully I can retire before I gotta die and I'll have time to do stuff, you know. That's my plan anyway. Well, look at that. The van's back on the trailer. Is it cleaning up if you're just moving it to another place? I don't know.
There it goes.
On the list of things I didn't want to do today,